Wolfpack, what's going on? It's your boy, the Wolf of Roto Street, rotostreetjournal.com. We breed and feed you fantasy wolves, you. And we are here feeding you on Thanksgiving week, the best week of all for eating. It's also week 12. We only got 2 weeks to the fantasy playoffs, so we better feed you a good 10-course meal. We better get your lineups perfect and ready for you. Wolfpack, there's zero room for error. Whether you're up at the top hunting for a bye, good shit. Hope you are. Awesome. You still need to win. Whether you're hunting and slogging in that like 5-6, 6-5 range, trying to squeeze into that last playoff spot, whether you just don't want to be last place. Either way, you got to get these last 2 wins, folks, starting with week 12. I cannot wait. You always get the Thanksgiving Day, like 3-game fest, which gets everything rolling nice and early. That's also going to change our show schedule just a little bit this week. Tomorrow, we're going to be a little bit earlier for our week 12 preview, rather. We're going to be, I'd say, 3 p.m. Eastern time is a general estimate. The truth is going to confirm later. I will be sure to post that at Roto Street Wolf, my personal Twitter. You can find when we're going to definitely be live. I'll post on our Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff too, when we'll be live tomorrow. And then I will be live 11 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day, right before you go and get all your turkey and all that good stuff. Come on and get your fantasy rankings ready. Any Thursday questions you have for that great day of football we have coming, let me know, and we will make sure to hit them. And obviously get your questions answered right now. We'll answer them as I'm going through the rankings process. Get it on in. But of course, Wolfpack, any thumbs up, regardless of where you're at, YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, is so appreciated. Any subscriptions on whatever your preferred platform is, or all 3, even better, would be so greatly appreciated as well. But let's bring in now our rankings and our points against. I'm checking out Yahoo for points against today. So let me know what you think of this one versus our usual pro football reference that we usually use. If this is easier to see, more difficult to see, let us know so we can make sure to get this as good as possible. But as usual, you see your Falcons and Seahawks right at the top. The Jags, no surprise. Jets, Bills, Cowboys, Chargers. That's going to be a good one. Bills and Chargers, both towards the bottom of the league in pass defense and tops of the league in most points allowed to quarterbacks. Cardinals, Raiders, Tennessee Titans round out your top 10. And you can see your bottom 10 here. Chiefs, Pats, Bucks, Saints, Packers, Giants, Bears, Colts, Rams, and Steelers. All the most difficult matchups in a ton of teams right here hovering in the middle. So we'll bounce back and forth as we check back with these just to make sure you have the most strength of schedule and informed lineup decisions. But let's now get in to our rankings, as we always start with quarterbacks. I don't know that I love Russell Wilson at the top. He hasn't been that great, to be honest, over these last few weeks. I'm going to bump him down below Josh Allen. I think Mahomes has to be the top. I don't think Tampa Bay is nearly as good as we thought they were. They're certainly crumbling a bit as a defense. Jared Goff just shredded them for over 25 points last night. What's Pat Mahomes going to do? And they always keep it competitive enough that the air has to stay under the ball. So I love Mahomes, my number 1 guy this week. Allen and that shootout, I think Justin Herbert really deserves to be up here. Just an absolute brilliant performance, 366 career high in yardage. And I mean, Kyler Murray dinged up with the shoulder, working off to the side in practice, normally the lock for the number 1 spot. I don't know how I feel about him right now this week, especially if he's dinged up. Not what you want to see from your top quarterback. I think I'll bump in Deshaun Watson, who's accounted now for 88% of his team's yardage and points. I mean, crazy. The highest it would ever be if this keeps up. He has been a machine. I think I bump him up just a little bit over Russ too. Now, again, granted, maybe Russ, I'm being a little low on here, but I just don't like Philly to keep this game overly competitive. I think Philly's also a decent defense, nothing special. But I'm just a little bit lower on him. You see Carr for that Atlanta matchups up there. Aaron Rodgers has to just always be lock button, top 7. Don't second guess that ever. In all honesty, I'd rather have Taysom Hill than all but these top 6 and Rodgers here. And then from there, I'm just going to keep bumping up. I mean, Atlanta for Carr is as sexy as it gets. I'm getting questions like, Big Ben versus Derek Carr. Which one do I stream this week? Do I go with my stud who's been killing it? I feel like Carr might be the way to lean here. I don't know about Brady against Kansas City. He always plays his best in the toughest of matchups, sure. But last night was terrifying, huh? How bad that guy looked. Just disgusting. Are the Jags on bye this week? Is that Where is Jacksonville? Who's got Jacksonville this week? No Jacks. So they must be on bye. Oh no, Jacksonville, Baker Mayfield. No wonder it's not in the top. They're a piece of garbage quarterback. I think Stafford deserves a bit of a bump up. Galladay, no final word yet, but I bet he's going to be back after almost returning last week. Cam Newton should run all over Arizona, but Pittsburgh. I mean, Lamar Jackson needs to get a bump down. He's already been playing at a low end, not even quarterback one, high end quarterback two at best level right now. So I'm bumping him down. I'd rather have Stafford in there. Matt Ryan, that all depends on Julio Jones. He averages less than 10 points with Julio out. He's been the quarterback like 25, 28, and 27 in the games where Julio has been hurt, missed time. So I'm not a big Matt Ryan fan this week. Ugly week for quarterbacks, folks. Not really what you want to see at all fantasy-wise. I'm going to put Big Ben, though, above Matty Ice. I'd rather have Big Ben than Lamar. I'm low on Lamar. I own him in one league. I made the mistake of taking a quarterback early, never fucking again. And he's been just fucking god-awful. Awful stuff. I actually like some of these. This is going to be a weird stretch run where a lot of shitty quarterbacks have easy cake matchups, like Daniel Jones. First time in the top 10 easiest matchups he's had all year. Seventh most for Cincy right there. I like Tannehill. Indy's tough, though. Indy is a tough D, but I'd certainly like him more than Tua. Tua's garbage. Phillip Rivers against Tennessee. I mean, he threw for what, 300 something against him last time. He's had 20 or more points in two of his last four. One real dud in his last four. The rest have been very serviceable, if not good. I mean, Wentz I don't want to have high, but Seattle just the second most points allowed. He's looked like complete trash, but I think if there's ever a matchup, I'm just going to keep bumping Matty Ice down. I don't trust him at all this week. So I'm lower on Lamar, lower on Matty Ice. I don't know that I'm necessarily higher on Kirk. Now, Teddy Bridge, let's rank him as if he's not injured. He'd be up here. I would say this tier actually has to get cut. Aaron Rodgers doesn't belong in the same tier as some of these shitheads. I guess shithead Teddy Bridgewater. I would put Bridgewater right there at 15, a nice stream. But yeah, Carr's got to be towards the top of your streaming consideration. I guess I'm a little lower on him. The ECR very high on him. That Atlanta matchup, most points allowed. Who else is our juicy juice matchups? New York Jets. So you saw Tua, nothing special. Bills, I'm all about Herbert and Josh Allen shooting out against each other this week. The Cowboys. So Alex Smith, a little bit of a bump maybe. I don't know. Tua also gets an easy matchup. I would say Goff, San Fran, home. Like he's cooking. Matchup doesn't matter for this guy. So let's get him bumped up. I'll add a tier. We'll get moving to running back, but I will get to these 14 questions we have so far. Get them all in, Wolfpack. Happy to answer them all. Let's say this cuts off here. I don't know about Alex Smith, actually, this high. Even in cake matchups, he's been pretty garbage. No need to rank, Mitch Trubisky, Winston not playing. Finley can definitely hold down the bottom of this list. I'm going to cut out Philip PJ Walker, XFL legend, though. If he plays, I would say right around this area. Showed a nice rope, but those costly red zone turnovers, not what you're looking to see. Other than that, I'll bump up Mullins, a little tough D, but he slings. I don't like much else here. I mean, Baker, I fucking think Baker sucks, but against Jacksonville, you can suck and still get a good fantasy day. And that rounds out really the top 10. The Raiders getting Atlanta. So Matty Ice in a top spot. If he has Julio, Matty Ice will shoot right back into this, 12 range, 11, 12. But for right now, with no Julio, it's ugly. It's hideous, his games without Julio. Let me now pull up our points against for running backs. I'm going to start loading the running backs over here. Sorry if that caused a little lag. Let's hit some of your questions, though, folks. I love interacting with y'all during this broadcast. It's a little bit less regimented because it's more about the live stream for this one, more about interacting, answering your guys' questions. Not going to be a podcast, just a ranking show, So let's see what we got here. Bailey Fields, legend. I'm seeing you like nightly here, Bailey. I like it. Should I start the Steelers defense against the Ravens or the Browns against the Jags? Ooh, That's a tough one right there. Defense is so freaking random, Bailey. It's hard for me to give you like a convicted answer. I just roll the talent there. I roll Steelers against a Ravens team that's going to be without its top two runners. They could swallow that offense up. Craig Dupay, what are you hearing about Mixon, Thielen? Thanks. Mixon is on IR, so at earliest, it's going to be another 2 weeks. It won't be until week 14, your fantasy playoffs. And by then, it's like, do I really want a starting running back in a Ryan Finley offense? What if they just shut him down? Wouldn't be shocked about any of that, but there's been no real latest on him. And Thielen just is rumored to be a close contact, has plenty of time to get cleared for Sunday, but there's been no real positive or negative developments around him. And I appreciate your praise, Craig Dupay. Love having you. Love having you at the show. And anybody that's tuned in, if you don't mind giving it that thumbs up button, and if you like what you hear, don't mind subscribing across all platforms is the best appreciation. But ultimately, wherever you like to watch is totally cool. We greatly, greatly appreciate you tuning in and asking us questions and interacting with us all week. Bailey Fields, does Keenan Allen and DK sound good this week? No, that sucks. Only 2 top 5 receivers. Why don't you rub that one in, fucking asshole? Come on, Bailey. Of course it sounds good. Brother, that's a great stat. That's a great wide receiver core. No doubt about it. Happy Thanksgiving to my American friends. Yes, sir, Craig. We actually are spreading out wide and far these days, though, which is amazing. Australia hitting us up. We got, the Philippines, some people tuning in. We're all over the place. The RSJ spreading wide and far, and I fucking love it. Hawkinson due for a big game. Hopefully need him to pull through. He's due, Bailey. He is due. What in God's wrong with Kenny Golladay? ISO only. I wish I could answer. Well, hopefully we'll get him on Thursday against Houston, that awful secondary. That would be a big one there. And killing me, I have him and Julio, Matt Ryan. Oh, and Kenny Golladay, I'm guessing. Probably leaning towards a no-go. Yeah, that hamstring, I bet you they play it cautiously. Why rush him right now? Watson better get a big bump. Yeah, I loved Watson. You saw, I think quarterback 4 or 5 this week, real big into him. All righty, I'm going to cut it there. Didn't mean to disappear on you. My bad. Hit the back button, or swipe rather, while I was going back and forth between my rankings and the show. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. Let me answer a couple more questions while we pull those rankings back in. I appreciate you waiting out that technical difficulty with me. Happy to be back with the pack. Here we go. Last question. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, not even a question. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Steven. Thankful for all of you fucking legendary folks that come in and tune in. I know that sounds corny, but you guys make this well worthwhile. So thank you so much for coming on in and hearing the rankings. Mitch Chavez, I can't ignore you here. Legend over here. Do I play Godwin or Woods this week? Great question. I mean, Woods off that blow up. How do we sit him, right? How do we sit him? I'm guessing Woods will rank higher, but we will get to receivers, as you know, my man Mitch, in a little bit. And last plug again, any thumbs up as we're getting through these running backs are so greatly appreciated. Thank you, Wolfpack, again, for being here with us. Toss any reactions, thumbs up, hearts, shocked faces. I don't care. It all means the world. It all helps us get discovered. All righty, folks. Dalvin Cook against Carolina. Could you ask for a better matchup? Well, let's just show you just how good that matchup is. I think Carolina is bottom 4 or 5, number 5 in most generous points allowed. You can see here, Detroit Lions versus running backs the most. So Houston, Duke Johnson, do I really give a shit? No, because Duke is a little bitch, as anybody that watches the show knows. I love him on my bench whenever I can have it. Texans, though, 2 worst teams. So DeAndre Swift, come back soon, baby. Please be in for this matchup. We don't need another week of that Adrian Peterson horror show. Anybody out there, by the way, that I recommended AP to, I'm sorry. It was probably my worst week of rankings. I genuinely feel bad about a lot of the calls I made. Been pretty spot on. Top 5 so far in 2020, folks, which is amazing. Might fall out of that this week. Had my worst week of rankings and calls in a while. But the fact that you're all still here for it means hopefully I've earned some good faith with some good weeks, and just love having you guys. So thank you for that. We also have the Packers towards the top, Raiders, Panthers, as we just said, Jags, shocker, Titans, Giants, Jets, and Chargers in terms of the most generous teams. Chargers new to that list. The last 5 weeks they've been in particularly getting bludgeoned on the ground. Then you got Washington as one of the hardest. That D-line is the real deal. Bears, Browns, San Fran, Falcons, Colts, Bucks, Rams, Steelers. Saints have been shockingly good against running backs. So just something to consider as we get these rankings set for you. I'm surprised the Pats are as good as they are, to be honest. And then you got the middle pack. Let me know if that's cool, like good for you guys to see. If you prefer the Pro Football Reference, I'm all about it too. I think Nick Chubb deserves, sixth easiest matchup. There's not a ton of great running back matchups this week, as you guys can see. I think Chubb is in for a steamrolling effort this week. Absolute steamroller. You can't have Derrick Henry, though. He's matchup proof, as he showed last week. He's going to do his shit. He did have a little bit of a dud against Indy last time out against him, but I'm not overly concerned. This tier is all about the names, and you got your elite guys. I mean, Chicago, what do you have them against running backs here? 24th, so not great for Jones. I mean, Kamara gets Denver. They've been a little bit dinged up these last few weeks. 18th, so, I mean, they did hold Salvin Ahmed, but that's Salvin Ahmed. Give me Kamara. I have to be slightly concerned, though, and I wonder how your concern level is. What's your panic meter, folks, on Alvin Kamara catching one target, rather, last week? That scares the shit out of me personally. I don't know about you guys. Not a fan at all of that. I'm going to rank Davis as if he's playing, which would land him. We just saw how studly he can be. Also, Gibson's got to be higher, in my opinion. I think Zeke right back in your top 10. I think we may have underrated that hamstring injury. As we were saying, sell, whatever you can get. Man, if you bought, that could be looking pretty good right now. Like, not a great week for running back matchups, though. I mean, we look at who's got Detroit, Duke Johnson crap. Who's got Green Bay, David Montgomery crap. Who's got the Raiders, Todd Gurley crap. Just a crappy freaking week for running backs in general. The Titans got the Colts. Maybe Jay Taylor keeps rolling there. Really just Chubb against the Jags is like the one real pure good runner that I'm feeling good about. And that means, Kareem Hunt getting all the goal line work. As much as he sucks at it, he's got to get a bump up, right? Let's cut this here. I do think Gurley, the right matchups, he's going to smash. So I think Gurley needs to be right here in this low-end 1, elite 2 type of tier. When the game flows right for Gibson, though, I mean, he's just a smash. This feels right. A little lower on Sanders this week. Seattle's been nothing special lately against the run. They started the year decently hot, but 11th after getting beat down pretty good these last few weeks. So I'm nervous, though, about the committee situation they got there. It seems like Boston's got in way more than you'd like to see. Now you got Jordan Howard. Doug Peterson saying we want this to be a committee. We want to keep them fresh. I don't like any of that. It's gross. Now let's get to these next tiers. I'm a fan of the touchdown machine right now. Clyde Edwards-Helaire really seems to be bouncing back. Wayne Gallman against Cincy. He hasn't had below 14 PPR points. He's got to get a little bit of a bump up. I don't know about over James Conner, who got a decent rebound week, but he's looking good. Salvin Ahmed. How could Ronald Jones be this fucking high? How high is the ECR to have him that way? High as me? I'm not actually even that high right now. But as soon as you get in on Taylor is when he's going to get fucking fizzled out. So give me a more consistent running back. No Rex Burkhead to contend with for Damian Harris. All the goal line work should be his. I like it. I like him a lot against a defense that they should have some looks. You got double-digit TD upside here, double-digit fantasy points for sure. I think Gus Bus should get some serious consideration here. He ran for 80 and a touchdown against the same Pittsburgh team. One of the hardest matchups, sure. But he definitely belongs towards your top 20. I'd say Drake over Gallman slightly. I mean, this is, again, Taylor and Drake, two guys that I think should be smashes every week. Ahmed should be higher, but what if Gaskin comes back? What if, then he'll get plummeted. Buffalo's not a great run D, though. 20-plus touches in 2 straight weeks for Balaj. 20 touches in that offense. I mean, Eckler could come back, Metallica himself. This feels about right. I wish Burrow was in. Obviously, we all do, because Bernard would be a whole hell of a lot higher. He'd be in this range. So Finley has me down on him a bit. This seems right, though. I don't know how Ronald Jones, after getting significantly outsnapped by Fournette, and mostly because of pass situations, would be in anyone's top 10. Now, we saw Nyheim Hines do it to his team before. At least the ECR is recognizing how bad Duke Johnson is, but this might be too low. I'm going to rank Carson as if he's playing, which means right in that area. Of course, if he's out, insert Carlos Hyde, top 20, no doubt. This feels right about like the middling RB2s. I wonder if Hilaire belongs in these low-end RB1s. Touchdowns are nice. The touches have been going down, though. Bell was more involved this last week than I think we'd wanted to, as Clyde Edwards-Helaire wanted to see. Let's rank Swift. I don't know. Has there been any word on Swift? Let me see when I click his profile here. Return to practice on a limited basis. That's a good sign. I'm going to rank Swift as if he's in. And if he's in, he's one of the few really talented guys with a matchup I crave against Houston. As bad as it gets against the run. Certainly above Gurley. Probably above Davis. Davis does get that Minnesota matchup, which is nothing too scary. I mean, you got Frank Gore, revenge game narrative. I'm going to bump up gross ass fucking Montgomery just because Green Bay is so bad. I might change my mind on that. Don't hold me to it because of how bad Montgomery just actually is. But volume against that team it's going to be worth something. I like Edmonds. Yeah, Melvin Gordon might be a fade this week with New Orleans, the hardest run D on the docket. Let's get rid of AP. Now we'll adjust, but honestly, even if he's starting, we saw last week that one of the easiest possible matchups you could have, and he just fucking sucked. Bag of shit. Singletary, what are you doing here? Zack Moss already rated? Like, why would Singletary be above Moss? That makes zero sense. Yeah. Moss and Singletary next to each other, they're not even close. Let's rank Mr. Mostert as if he's going to play. In which case he slides in, top 25, I'd say. So it's a gross week for running backs, like your top guys, and then there's like enough of these guys that have like fair enough matchups. But when Mostert plays, he balls. That dude is fast as all hell, reads the blocks so well. The vision's outstanding. But after this, this top, like you see it, the RB2s, like there's a good amount of them. But now we're getting into like, oh boy, I hope you don't have to use these guys, but you can potentially use them. I don't think Henderson's usable at this point. I do think James White, especially if the Pats get down early. Again, nothing to do with Ronald Jones this week. As good as he can be, I don't get the usage ever. I'm not going to ever pretend like I can. And there's nobody, down here. Maybe Akers. But yeah, there's really nobody that I like here. McKinnon will get some work in the passing game, so he can get a little bump up. I mean, Justice Hill, like as a Hail Mary, he'll probably be my Hail Mary tomorrow on higher, lower Hail Mary with the truth. And we've just got word that that's going to be right around 3 o'clock for the truth. Maybe even 2 o'clock. I get out of school early tomorrow, so we can get a mid-afternoon, kind of wind down your useless work day before Thanksgiving with our fantasy football preview, folks. Booker catches the ball well, and that's the one way you can beat Atlanta with your backs, so I could see him having a decent day. Josh Kelly can go sit on a fist. He's useless. Yeah, this is where you're getting ugly. I don't know that I can call this tier actually usable. These are the guys. And I would bump Frank Gore above Fournette. I honestly think Fournette and Ronald Jones might need to switch here because Fournette's the much more trusted pass catching back. I do like Zack Moss. I think he's a little too low here. I'd have him above Duke's ass cheeks Johnson. I mean, let's bump him below a running back that actually catches the ball. Detroit's, again, the most generous running back, but Duke butt cheeks. If there's one back that won't get it done against him, it's Duke. Ugh. You know his real name's Randy? I had tip to Ian Hardis for pointing that one out. I had no clue. That just makes me hate him even more. Ass cheeks. Duke. All right, let's pull up your wide receivers. Let's get into a few questions, though, before we do that. Which two running backs for Steven Hernandez? Carson, Gallman, K. Hunt, James Robinson. Robinson's the lock there, Hernandez. And you got a lot of interesting options, a lot of like those like RB2 quality. I kind of like Hunt in that easy matchup against Jacksonville. I think this is one of those weeks where you get Chubb and Hunt just going crazy. In my IMHO, my humble opinion, that's where I'm leaning. Let me know which way you're leaning, but I think Robinson has to be the lock. He's matchup proof. He's the man. If you can pick two, would it be Claypool, Anderson, or Robert Woods? Claypool and Woods. Anderson's kind of fallen out of favor there, it seems. It seems to be the Curtis Samuel show, and DJ Moore is honestly performing more. Just as soon as you bench him, he's probably going to blow up, but it's tough to call, whereas the other two guys seem more sure for volume. Clyde or Gio, half PPR for Brian Martinez. Got to go Clyde. Those 2 touchdowns, I like what I'm seeing. They're going to try to slow down Brady, that passing attack. I like it. My man, Jack, Wolfie, Bobby Trees, my dude. One of my crowning moments of the year this year. Got a DM. I was in the middle of the rest of season rankings last night. Got a DM. Dude's name was Stanley Yellen. I'm never turning down a guy named after my favorite fucking book of all time, Holes. Not my favorite book of all time, but my favorite book to teach middle schoolers of all time. Let's put it that way. I taught middle school reading for years, and they love that book. Stanley Yellen. Classic. I had to answer it. You see Stanley Yellen pop up in your DMs, you answer it. He asked, I need 26 points. I'm going AB unless you tell me otherwise. I have Robert Woods too on my bench, but I just don't think he has the ceiling. And I said, we've seen 30 from Woods before. He's been a couple missed bombs away from it so far this year. Put him in if you trust the Wolf. He did, and he won, and now he's shipping me some of Chicago's finest beers. My man Stanley Yellen. I love it. Sorry for going on a rant there, Jackie, but I just love when I get it right, like that much on the crunch time, that exact call. You know, I don't know how many of you actually genuinely listen and make the decisions I make and which ones win you the lineups and which ones cost you. But that one was clear cut, direct, like changed his mind and it won. So I hope if I ever change your mind, I hope it's for the right reasons like that. Nothing feels better than getting those right. Like even my own wins, they feel pretty damn fucking good too. I didn't even get your question, my dude. Sorry. Can I trust Wentz this week? Hill and Cousins are my other options. I love Taysom Hill, brother. I think he runs wild. I mean, he's Tebow with a better arm. I think he's going to run all over Denver. 2 touchdowns on the ground. You don't even care what his passing stats are. That's all gravy. And that rapport he showed with Michael Thomas, all about it. Is it true if you don't use it, you lose it? Cody Poor. Yeah, absolutely. It goes away too fast. Hopefully we're all getting some good usage there, Wolves. Cody Poor, good to see you, brother. It's been a minute. Pittman or Chark? Man, that's tough. We're going to get into wide receivers. Cleveland matchup, though, for Jacksonville with no Denzel Ward banged up. Their only really good corner. I'm going to lean Chark, but damn, do I love Pittman, Brian Martinez. Damn, do I. Marco, what's up, brother? Marco Escobar. Would you roll with Logan Thomas or Goddard? Thanks for winning me games these past. Okay, I got some other wins for people. Love it, Marco. I'm going to go Goddard. That Hut game. Why not, right? Let's keep this guy rolling. Logan Thomas has been, meh at best, gets the volume, but I like Goddard. I like that ceiling. We'll get tunes, and then we'll be back to your rankings, folks. What's up, Wolf? Getting a little late out of the woods. Getting some good hunts in, dude. Like to hear it. Parker had a decent game this past week. How much of that QB change, or was Tua looking his way too? That's a good question, Tunes. I don't know the exact splits. I do know Fitz, instant, right when he went in, boom, Parker. I saw like a couple of the plays, but they weren't cutting to that game much and for good reason. There wasn't much happening on Red Zone. And I certainly wasn't going to use Sunday ticket to go watch the Jets. Or the Dolphins. Fucking crap team. I think a lot of it was Fitz, to be honest. But I don't know. I have not done that breakdown, and I haven't seen anything. That's a really good question to ask. I do think against the Jets, it might not matter who's that quarterback. I think Tua is going to be his quarterback, and quite frankly, anyone can destroy the Jets. And he's going to want a Devontae Parker stick it to Adam Gase. So I like Parker. I'm going to like him this week. We'll find out how much in a second. But let's look at the easy matchups, folks. And again, if you don't mind giving us a thumbs up, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, regardless of you're at, smashing that subscribe button. Awesome. So that way you can find us anytime we do this. We'll hit all your questions more than promised. You know I do. That's how we do it at the RSJ. We leave no question unturned. Tomorrow night, the preview, or tomorrow afternoon, rather, we typically get 200 questions, and the sit starts the same way. We'll be here. We'll be grinding it all out for you guys. But giving us that thumbs up does help us get out there more. And it looks good for our sponsors and all that stuff. We'll eventually build our portfolio. Love you, Wolfpack. Let's get these rankings done for you. Seattle Seahawks, no surprise. They've been the worst by a mile this year. Dallas Cowboys, though, Washington, Terry McLaurin, smash spot. Falcons against receivers, not a shocker that they're so bad given how many points they give up to the quarterback. We will see if the Raiders can take advantage of that. If anyone can, it's probably going to be Aguilar. He'll be high in my rankings. The Vikings, though, such a trash team against wide receivers. So that will be a great spot. Who gets the Vikings this week? Let me check that real quick. Carolina. So good spot for your Moores, your Samuels, your Andersons. They'll be a bit higher in the rankings this week. The Jags against Cleveland. That should be a shootout game. Cleveland's 11th, but that's, without Denzel Ward early in the year, they were third most in points allowed. So I think that's going to be a smash potential shootout spot if Jake Luton had any fucking spine. Bengals, especially the outside receivers, very generous. And the Texans. So that Detroit, 12, two crap teams against wide receivers. And the ones you want to avoid, the Rams, they're obvious. Even that elite receiving core last night of the Tom Brady-led Bucs struggled. Somehow the football team is so good against receivers. Who knew? The Bears, though, they have some good shutdown corners. The Chiefs, the Ravens, the Chargers, Colts, Panthers, Bills, Packers. All matchups you kind of want to avoid. I don't buy the Bills. They're so generous to quarterbacks. Like that's not scaring me away too much. We'll bounce back and forth between that, though, Wolfpack, as we get through some of these matchups. To me, Chicago is at the bottom of that list, but it doesn't matter. It's Devante Adams at number 1 every week. Yeah, Keenan Allen, 16 catches on 19 targets. DK might get slayed, but I'm not worried about that for him. Tyreek, though, he's got to be number 2 every week at this point. Absolutely has to. I like Terry. I'm worried a little bit about Hopkins. A couple duds in a row. We'll get Gilmore this weekend. I think Diggs is in a smash spot. So, yeah, as you guys can see, a little bit lower on Hopkins this week. I don't know why Ridley, especially with Julio out, he's going to be the focal point. So I'm going to get him bumped up. Ooh. I think even above Diggs potentially. Damn, am I psycho, guys, to rank Hopkins as low as I am right now? Only time shall tell. Let me know what you guys think, though. Fuller against Detroit, no-brainer. You could smash. You got your Adam Thielen, so long as he's playing, I love. I'm going to remove Julio. I'm assuming he's not playing. We will obviously update if he does, but dinged up hamstring always scares the shit out of me. In terms of matchup-wise, there's nothing great for any of these middling guys. Allen Robinson, though, that's way too low. He just gets peppered no matter how crap the target quality might be. Just peppered. Pepper. In terms of matchups, so let me go back here real quick. I don't rank strictly on matchup. We're not going to rank Aguilar in the top 25, so I see that. Parker, though, will get a nice bump up. And the Vikings against Carolina, those guys deserve bumps as well. Just had to go back and refresh the old noggin. This is tricky because, Cooper Kupp, you have 10 first-half targets last night. Just a monster. Same with Robert Woods, like the 12 catches. This is a tough tier to kind of sift through. I don't know that I have Godwin in it. I prefer Mike Evans, just given the red zone monster skills. I think Parker needs a little bit of a bump up here. This could be a target hog reemergence. I mean, is Robbie the number one? Is DJ Moore the number one? Is anybody ever going to be able to figure that out? Washington's so good against receivers, apparently. I don't necessarily buy it, though. I have Chark higher. Let's get him up. Right in that range. Michael Pittman, who I called potentially this year's A.J. Brown. I don't think I'm necessarily that far off. Gets a nice bump up here. I think Curtis Samuel. I mean, he might be their number one. As soon as you trust him, he's going to, as soon as I go high on him, he's going to go 2.6 like he did last fucking time. But he also could go 17. Minnesota is just bad. I don't like Slayton all that much. I prefer Sterling Shepard. So these are like your 2s, 3s. As you can see, the Carolina Panthers, a bunch of them in here. As soon as you trust DJ Moore, that's when he's going to kick you in the balls too. Good to see a CD Lamb emergence, huh, folks? That touchdown was sickening. How can we have Evans and Godwin's this high, but not the team high leader in targets? I think Antonio Brown deserves a bit more recognition. Myers should be in a good spot in the slot. I know dud last week, but rebound spot. Marvin Jones, if he's the only guy, will be in this tier, but it's looking like we should get a little bit of Galladay back. Give me all the Aguilar. Atlanta, choke. Aguilar's been balling. Double digits, and I think 6 of his last 7 that weren't played in 30 mile per hour wins. Ayuk, too. I mean, studs we're talking here. I think people coming off buys are always ranked a little bit lower than they should be. Like Cole Beasley. They're saying John Brown's not practicing, so I'm going to remove him for now. Corey Davis is so solid. I'm not going to use either Boyd. You can't trust either. I'd trust Boyd more than T. Higgins, I guess, if I'm going to go one, but I don't want to go either. Rager and where's my guy Rager? I'm going to bump him up. As much as I want to trust CD, this is a good Washington secondary that I didn't expect to be good. I want to see him get it done again. But these are like a quality wide receiver 3s that we're ranking here. Excuse me. Tim Patrick, so underrated. I know a lot of his goods came on that heave at the end of the game, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Perriman, especially if Flacco's playing. How does Jarvis Landry keep sneaking his way into this fucking picture? Get the fuck out. Henry Ruggs. I mean, I guess if you're ever going to do it, Atlanta's spot, but still, come on. I don't hate T.Y. This is a week that I think T.Y. could get it. Again, I prefer Pittman, as you can see, up here at 29, but I think T.Y. could get it. Other guys down here worth shouting out. Damiere Byrd, revenge game. Sanders played fine. And how do we get Marquis Brown this high ever again? Can we really ever trust him? I don't think so. Lazard was a bit of a bust this week, but I mean, Fulgham against Seattle, if there's ever a rebound spot. it'd be this week. Hopefully you're not weeding around in this type of shit. I'm not seeing any names. Let's rank Galladay as if he's playing, though, which would have him landing. Probably right about here is where I'd have him in. I'll clean this up and see if there's any guys that deserve to be ranked a bit higher, but that's where I'm leaning so far. All righty. It's Kelsey. It's only Kelsey. And then Waller against Atlanta. It's only Waller. And now we get the fun task of ranking the shit. Let's go to tight ends, though. I'm going to go back to your questions, folks, for a little bit here. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Mitch. Great to see you. Thanks so much for always tuning out, brother. I hope you and your fam have a great one. Hill, Goff, Newton, start 2. 2 quarterback lead. Taysom's my favorite. Probably going to go Newton as my second. Just get the Konami upside in all of them, Iowa sports fan. What's up? What's going on, my guy? Just made 2 massive trades, Alfred. Want you to judge them. Got rid of James Robinson, Hopkins, and Mahomes. Oh, and Jefferson got Mahomes, Allen, A-Rob. Allen, Rob, Sanders. Is it Miles Sanders? These are tough to fucking judge, man. It's all like good players. That depends on like who was your quarterback. Like if you just lost Burrow, then yeah, you needed to do that. If not, I probably prefer the talent on the first side. I like Hopkins more than Allen Robinson. I like James Robinson more than Sanders. In a vacuum, I'd probably rather have Jefferson than Mahomes. But if you're quarterback needy, it makes total sense. Then I traded Lamar, Claypool, A-Rob, got Adams and Mostert. Yeah, I mean, that's a deal. Anything to Adams. Like, you get that top 5 elite option, you figure it out from behind, yeah. Sion, nonsense. Those calls on Ahmed and Balaj helped me win big time. Oh, yeah, okay. Ahmed didn't do much, but Balaj was okay. Glad you won, Sion. That's awesome. Hell yeah. I like when I get it right for the folks. T. Higgins, Slayton, Lazard, Rager. Who should I drop to add Pittman? I honestly want to say Higgins. Rager would be the next one. If you want to see what he does with Finley, I would drop Rager. You could drop any of those guys. I'd rather have Pittman than any of them. Yeah, Phillip Lindsay's kind of fucking useless. I think you could drop him too and just give these guys one more tryout week. Robert Moreno. What are your thoughts on Duke Johnson? I mean, Duke sucks. I think he's a bitch, Alfred. I think he runs like a bitch, smells like a bitch, is a bitch. I don't know why I always make that the line, but it is. That being said, he also gets Detroit the easiest possible matchup. I still would rather have Mostert if he's playing. Definitely Mostert. The thing is you'll have to make that decision on Thursday because Duke plays the first game. And we might not know Mostert's status, and I'd rather have Duke than Fournette. So we got to read these tea leaves and check in, Alfred, on Thursday morning, Thanksgiving morning, if you're free and willing. Let's see if we have any new news on Mostert. I'd much prefer Mostert out of this group. And if he's out, though, I'd probably rather have Duke. You still won with Fulgham, AP, and Duke scoring. 10.1, and you made the playoffs, Tunes. That's what I love to hear. That's why you're a Wolf. You're one of the best fans we got out there, brother, and pumped for you. Let's bring home that trophy. Did you win? I think you won it last year. We got to defend that title, my man. Win was over the number 1. Hell yeah. 2 back from first, 1 game from second, and with 2 weeks left. First and second, I imagine, get the bye, right? Let's get it. Let's do it. Aaron Jones, Hunt, D. Swift, Chris Carson need 2 for Cody Poor. It's always going to be Jones, and then if Swift's playing, it's Swift. If not, I want to lean Hunt. A little nervous on Carson right now with that health. Sony Michel back this week, says Binky the Doormat. I mean, he was activated last week. He just didn't return. You can never know what those Patriots are going to fucking do with those running backs. And I certainly don't want to pretend like I have a clue. If he is, shit, that sucks for Sony. I mean, for Damian, but I don't think he's going to be much of a factor either way because Damian's rolling so well and he's 0 in the pass game. Carson or Ahmed, just need your advice, says Bailey Fields. I prefer Carson, my bud, if he's playing. Definitely prefer Carson. Let's get Duke Johnson, middle finger, garbage, absolutely. What a bitch he is. Think about picking up James White. I have 21 fab left. How much would you wager? CHJT, hopefully Eckler coming back. So you don't really have a huge need, but I think it's worth tossing 7 to 10. He's going to be in a good spot, but are you ever going to use him, Tunes? That's the thing with these running backs. I don't know that you will, especially if Eckler's back this week. I wouldn't go too overboard with your roster construction. Half PPR, Chark or Gio or Mike Williams this week. It comes down to Chark or Gio, and I think I like Chark with no Denzel Ward there. I like Chark this week. Inceptivus, my man from the Typhoon. Deontay, AB, Devante. I think I'm going to bench AB from this group. Deontay and Devante. My man, Mitch, you've always been there for me many times, man. Always appreciate you. That's what I like to hear it. Like that you're here every night because of it, too. You're a loyal fan, and I appreciate that. You're a teacher, Mr. Roos? They call me Mr. Roos? Come on. I didn't know you were a teacher. I love it, brother. Do you still teach? What's your deal? Good stuff. It is one of the best books. And yeah, I agree. Compare and contrast. And I love that like all the middle schoolers, despite always being like, movies are better than books, they always realize that book is better. And that's often will turn just a handful of them on for the rest of life that, hey, books can actually be pretty fucking good. That's why I love that book. Todd Exotic, Mr. Exotic in the classroom. That sounds fucking dangerous. I don't want you to get arrested, Mr. Roos. I love you. Alrighty, folks, back to your tight end rankings here. Falcons, no surprise, the worst team against tight ends. Cleveland right up there, number 2. I know Philly, 7. Buffalo, 3rd worst. Wow, so maybe that's why that gap between quarterback and receivers exists, because of how bad they are at tight end. Hunter Henry, good week for you. Jags, awful against tight ends. No surprise, they're awful against everything. Bengals, they got these little surprise there. Chargers, so we could get a tight end battle. Mr. Knox there. The Eagles, Will Dissly, fire him up this week potentially. No Greg Olson. He'll be my Hail Mary of the week. Spoiler alert for tomorrow. Tennessee Titans, bad. Bears, that's where you exploit the Bears. I always like a defense that's like a funnel too. They're really good against receivers, 30th, but awful against tight ends. Whoever's facing the Bears, Tunyon this week could do some damage. And the Jets, shocking how bad they are. So Gesicki could be in play. Surprisingly to see the Lions pretty good against tight ends. Dolphins, can't play Herndon. Oh, no. Got a touchdown this week. Broncos, pretty stingy, but generous to wide receivers and running backs in the pass game. Cardinals, oh, no, you can't use Larry Izzo. Seahawks, pretty good. So Goddard, not in the easiest spot, but you're not benching him after last week. Patriots taking out tight ends. So are the Packers. So that makes them a little bit riskier. Jimmy Graham this week. Colts, so good against tight ends, as are the Niners and the Steelers. So that's a wrap-up of who's really good at tight ends, at defending them, and who's also really bad at it. Let's now get in here. So Andrews gets the hardest matchup. No, he just had his touchdown. I'm not into it. I think Andrews is way too boomer bust for my liking. I think Evan Ingram, even above him. Hawkins is one of the most consistent guys you can get. How is Houston again? Middle of the pack. Hayden Hurst, what a bag of shit. My higher ranked guy did jack shit. Now gets a harder matchup. But if Julio's out, they're going to need to give targets to somebody. John, who I don't like in this tough matchup. Let's cut this first tier of like tight end ones off. No, sorry, Hurst, with your flow. You're not getting in your bag of shit. I'm going to bump up Hooper. Nothing special, but give me Dalton Schultz. I mean, top 10 weeks in 2 of his last 3 and seeing steady volume. That's really all you can ask for. I think Tunyon's in a better spot than people are giving him credit for. I'm seeing him get cut in a lot of leagues too. Let's bump him up. That's a good spot against Chicago right there. Gesicki against the Jets all day. even though he sucks. Creative content you need. Against the Jets all day, even though he sucks. Deep analysis, folks. That's what we bring here. Denver was good against tight ends. They were on the red list, so it seemed like Jared Cook was kind of an afterthought. It was really Mike Thomas or bust in the passing game. A few targets to Emmanuel Sanders, but I was surprised to see Taysom target wide receivers. Whew, excuse me, folks, as much as he did. Long day of teaching today. I think Dick Rod needs a bump up. Like I said, I think if I'm going for a Hail Mary, give me Disley. No Greg Olson. Was the tight end 5 before going down last year. Been a top 12 tight end in 6 of his 8 games before coming into this year. I like him. I like him a lot. If only we could get rid of one of these tight ends for Trey Burton and Mo Alley, Cox, and Doyle. If we had one main show there, they'd be top 10 every week. Sadly, a boy can only dream. Get rid of some of these crap names. Yeah, maybe it's Hollister over Disley, but I prefer the big Dis. Big Dis. Stupid. Alrighty, folks. Let's get on to defense, but answer some more questions while we wait for that one. K Cool Whip. K Few. Need to start 2. CHAB. Carson Harris Gallman. I like CEH and Harris. If Carson's in, that's going to make it a little trickier, K Cool Whip. So we'll track those. I would potentially consider benching Harris for him, but we shall track it and we shall find out. Dolphins. Jets. Last time out against them, they had, 30 points? Don't overthink that one. I think Cleveland against Jacksonville deserves to be a bit higher. Although Saints, 16, 14, and 16 in their last 2. Tough to argue that. It's hard to have the Steelers, especially given that the Ravens aren't anything special. It's hard to have them that low. Let me get rid of K Cool Whip here. I did want to answer some questions. My fault. Sarah Riley. Hopefully the hunting's getting better. Fant, Hurst, or Hooper. Got burned by Hurst. Yeah, fuck Hurst. I go Fant. New Orleans pass D is not great. They're super good at the run. So Denver's going to need to throw. Galladay downgraded no practice. And on a short week, Mike Clay, I would almost guarantee that Galladay will not be playing. Starting to look like a Duke Johnson bitch. Baby back bitch. Should I start Duke Johnson? That bitch. What a great comment. What timing there at the end. From the Philippines, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. No. Yeah to yes, he's a bitch. No to you probably shouldn't start him. Screw him. But it depends who the rest of your rank you got against. Bless you. Thank you, Alfred. Look at those manners from the crowd here. Half PPR need 1. Swift, Woods, Carson, Jefferson, or Anderson. So Swift's the easy answer. If he's in, he's in. Then it comes down to Carson versus that rotating carousel of hell for wide receiver. They're all too good, but all can just disappear. And you seem to never get the right one, Sarah. I never do. If you're listening to me. I would say my next up would be Jefferson. If Carson plays, though, that's going to complicate things. But if Swift's in, he's the guy. Rager or Fulgham for the end. I go Rager. Targeting more. We'll see. But, yeah. I think Rager's the play there. Cody Hoxie. Glad I took your advice and started Woods over AB. Aha, we shouted you out, Cody. You're Stanley Yelnats, huh? Never knew your real name, Cody. But yeah, hell yeah, I'm glad you did too. It made my night just as much as it made yours. I love when I get them right like that. So good shit. Cheers. I'm looking forward to those Chicago beers over there. Do I go Carr this week after his performance against the Chiefs? Absolutely, Connor. Against Atlanta, he's going to keep those good times rolling. I guess it depends on who your other option is, but yeah, I like it a lot. I'm in the exact same boat, Tunes. Let's get it. The two Wolfpack loyalists here. Right into the playoffs already, playoff bound. Now it's just a matter of, are we going to get those buys, boys? Let's do it. Hate cutting Jared Cook. Yeah, I don't hate it. Don't see his getting out better with Hill. I totally agree. And Tunyon, yeah, as you saw, was my tight end, what was it? Tight end 9 of the week. He's not great, but he can get there for you. Oh, yeah, the end. So now that I took out Galladay, I should probably be bumping up Marvin Jones, huh? Good call. You're welcome, Cody Hoxie. Happy I made it for you. I wish every call went as smoothly as that one. Sadly, they don't, but that was about as butter smooth as you could ask. Let me find Marvin on here. Let's see where he ranks with Galladay now. Unlikely to go. Right there, 29, 30. Blow up 2 weeks ago, quiet last week, but volume against Houston's always going to be valuable. All right, there we are. Now not Superflex. I want to go to defense. Maybe I could make those rankings for you guys someday. But yeah, Rager, Fulgham. I said Rager at the end. Glad I took your advice and started. Yeah, so there we go. Oh, yeah, I'm backwards. I just wanted to show that again, huh? Oh, yeah, what about Marvin Jones? We just covered. Would you trade your Mahomes and Waller for Kamara, Taysom Hill, and Dallas Goedert? Zach, I think I would, depending on my running back depth. But yeah, I like that. I mean, Kamara's the best player in the deal. I'm a little nervous about Taysom Hill, but they could get together. I like that trade a lot. Yep, Zach, I do. Just traded T. Higgins and the Bears defense for Lamar Jackson. Gotta love trading players who are stressing about making playoffs. Yeah, absolutely, Milo. T. Higgins is going to be a joke with no Burrow and a defense. Absolutely fleeced. Like Lamar Jackson kind of blows so far this year, Milo, but ultimately just taking that stab and seeing could we get a just late season blow up is well worth it. Last two, and then I'll get back to your defense and kickers, and then I will round out the show with whatever else you guys got for me. Do you think DeAndre Swift will have a big game? Yeah, absolutely. Bailey Fields, if he's in, he's going to eat. He's a monster. Last time out, 25 fantasy points, dominated over 70% of the snaps. I was all about it. Let's hope that he returns to that role. I think he could kill. Bailey, why can't you play Swift and Carson? I think it's a good question, Milo. Those are two great options. It won't be Ahmed either way, but I'm wondering the same thing. All right, let's get to your defenses. Loving the Browns against Jacksonville. Loving the Giants against Cincy. Steelers got to be in that tier, though, too. Rams a pretty good D. Mullins is prone to turnovers. I can buy that. I like the Packers here. I think Washington. These all kind of make sense. I think the Seahawks D sucks, so I'm going to put Ravens over them. I think the Pats could kind of frustrate a banged-up Kyler. I'll cut this at the teams I actually want to try. And now we're at the range of grossness. Cowboys D has not been as bad as people think. I mean, they're bad. I'm not trying to say they're not bad, but they haven't been as people think. But I think the 49ers have some talent on defense. We can bump them up, especially if Sherman can get himself healthy. Any defenses I like more than usual in this pack? I like the Panthers. I mean, the Vikes, if PJ Walker's starting. I don't want anything to do with this matchup. I think that's going to be a points factory. Texans are so bad, so it's okay, never mind. But I think that's about it. Yeah, I mean, we've seen the Tampa Bay D get exposed. They're going to do the same against Kansas City, get exposed. I think the Raiders, if no Julio Jones, would be up in this range. So let's rank them as if that is the case. Bears just side with talent as a unit. That rounds out the defense, folks. Let us know if you need a streamer or what you're looking for. Young Hui. I'm putting him in a tier by himself because that's my boy. Koo. One of you guys asked a question about Koo last week. Hopefully you followed the answer. You never benched the Koo. We've been seeing Butker kind of suck this year, which is disappointing. I don't know why Daniel Carlson gets ranked as high as he does. Is he actually killing it or something? I could see Zane getting back to that 16-point range. Same with Prater, although I could totally understand those of you that want to just say, fuck you, Prater. Crosby maybe in a decent spot on a defense that will probably stall him out. I like Big Greg the Leg for a nice Thanksgiving day. Joey Sly, yeah, baby. Tyler Bass at the top there, you boot of a fucking leg. Koskowski, I mean, we're looking at a crapshoot, folks. Matt Gay had a big night, though, last night. Which offense is good enough to get in the red zone but then get stalled out is essentially what you ask with kickers. All you know is cool. All righty, guys. That's going to wrap up my rankings. Let's get back to your questions and answer any that we have left. So Milo asked about why can't you play both to Bailey? And he responded, because I have Chubb and D Cook, and I think that's a pretty damn good answer. I would definitely go Swift over Carson if he's in. Thomas or Diggs rest of season? I go Diggs. I mean, the only receiver to have double-digit fantasy points every single week. Unbelievable. So trade Antonio Gibson for AJ Brown. I prefer, in a vacuum, probably Gibson, just because running backs are so much rarer. But if you need Noah Drontel, AJ Brown, like you're desperate at wide receiver, then that's all about team need. They're right about each other. So it's a fair deal for whatever you need more, but I prefer Gibson. Yeah, we just covered that. Sarah Radley. Goddard was just dropped. Did I pick him? Yeah, I think I played Goddard after last week. I would definitely pick him up. Yes. Michael Thomas at 12 says Noah. I mean, is that rest of season or is that in my rankings this week? Not a bad matchup against Denver. And we just saw him get peppered 14 times. Are you saying I'm too low? Too high? Like what? I don't know what you mean here, Noah Dronta. Let us know. Wow, Bailey, how many people are in your league? 6. Bailey, grow the fuck up. Come on. 6-team leagues? Makes sense. Your team's a little stacked. Just a little league. It is a little league. Step on up to the big boys. Get 12 at least. Double it up. Who do you recommend? Swift, as I said. Can't stand Duke at this point, but of course the matchup has. Exactly, right, Mike? I'm not going back, though. He's had 2 enticing matchups, and he fucking blew. Done with him. Doesn't get trusted. Speaking of how many people in a league, since I got crap for how good my team is recently, I'm in a competitive 10-team independent full PPR. I like it. Mitch rubbing it into your face. Everybody's got to step up to the plate here and get at least 12 teams. That's the real varsity level. You got to be sleeping on Mike Williams this week, says Mike. Let me see how low I am. Mike E.W. Maybe I am a little too low. Where is he? Yeah, that's too low. I agree. Thanks for pointing that out, Mike. This is my first gut reaction. Like I go through these with a very fine-tooth comb later. That would have hopefully been when I cut, but I appreciate you pointing it out. Like, yeah, he's above Rager, above Lamb. The one thing that I'm nervous about slightly with him is he going to have shadow from Tre'Davious White? That could be a little bit nerve-wracking. Too low on Thomas, you're saying? I mean, he's been a dick for the whole season, Noah. We suddenly just going to forget that he's been nothing? I'm not sprinting over there. Trusting the Wolf, just sub, man. Thanks. Hell yeah. Let's get those subs, get those bells on. Come every time. We love having you, Bailey. I've seen you pop up a few times. Glad you got to earn your subscription here. Means the world. And anybody out there, any likes, thumbs up buttons, and of course, subscriptions mean the world. And if you want to go above and beyond for the Wolfpack, if you review the podcast, write a little review for us, or at least give it 5 stars. Sheesh, you'll be my best fucking friend, folks. Absolutely. I'm glad you trust me, Bailey, and I'm glad you subbed. Hopefully you stick around. Hopefully we get it right for you. Eckler coming off IR this week, says Moreno. Any word about him practicing? I mean, we've seen squatting videos. We've seen sprinting videos. It looks like he's ready to go. How electric is this offense going to be? How good have they been without Eckler? And then you put an element like that in. Justin Herbert's already a cheat code, and he's had, other than Keenan Allen, nothing to work with. Hell yeah. Let's get Eckler back in, baby. I'm looking forward to it. No word, though, yet if he's going to play. It could be up in the air. Oftentimes they get activated and they work in easy, steady, and then they come back the next week. But if he's in, that means he's ready to go. So if he's in, he's in the rankings. Where would he rank for me? Should he be in? Let's look at it, Robert. I would say right back into your top 15 running backs, right in this range. Risk of them easing him in, but yeah, could blow up. I wasn't even sharing my screen there. That might help. I would have him right in this range. Like the Swift, Davis, Gurley. Probably like right above Davis. Oh, you'll have the Herbert Eckler stack. That's insane, Tunes. That'll get you some serious points because he's probably the best receiving back in the league. Alrighty, Wolfpack. I hope this was useful. I hope you found it great. I will be updating these, obviously, throughout the week. I'll be live Thursday morning, 11 a.m. for more rankings, meaning the truth will be back tomorrow afternoon. Different time than usual because of the holidays. We got some traveling to do. He's got his fam. Like, hopefully you'll understand. We'll be up, I think, around 2:30 or 3 o'clock. So come on down if you're free. I know some of you guys will be working, but fucking sneak it in at work. Do it up. Get your questions on in. And I will, of course, be live Thursday morning if you're free to join 11 a.m. Eastern time. Before you get your turkey on in, get some wolf. Nothing tastier than a wolf on Thanksgiving, right? Folks, you're the best. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you don't mind liking, subbing, wherever you're up, that means the world to help our numbers and get it down. Post during the day if you can narrow down the time. Absolutely, Mike. I will let you know. I appreciate that. I love that the folks are looking for it. I will let you know as soon as I know from the truth. I'm going to make a new graphic about all our times. That's one thing we got to step up about is our consistency when we go live and communicating that to you guys. I go whenever I'm free. Like the busy work days can get to me. But I'll do my best to keep it as consistent and routine as I can. Time to cook. Got Chubb, Henry, Aaron Jones. Good Lord, Brody Roberts. That might be the most stacked backfield ever. Bunch of stallions to just smack on the ass and let them rip. One more question before I go. Can I trust Russ this week? I'll go Herbert instead, to be honest. I think you can always trust Russ, but I prefer Herbert. And guys, thank you again so much. At Roto Street Wolves, where you can find me, Roto Street Journal, on all your socials. You can link up with us there. RotoStreetJournal.com is our home base, and our app at the Roto Street Journal iOS store is where you can find all our content. Thank you guys so much. Best of luck, Week 11. Hope to see you some more broadcasts this week, folks. And thanks again so much for your views and for your questions and your interaction, Wolfpack. I'm thankful, so thankful that we have this opportunity to build this fucking thing together. We would be nothing without you guys. So thanks again.